Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel where we break down the rawest moments in American politics. No spin, no filter. Just the truth hitting harder than a New York jury verdict. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now because we're about to dissect how Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a former public defender who spent more time in real courtrooms than most lawyers spend in coffee shops, absolutely dismantled the former president in under 20 seconds. Flat. And before we dive into this explosive confrontation, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss a takedown like this. This wasn't just a hearing. This was the moment when two worlds collided. The bombastic billionaire who built an empire on branding and bravado versus the street-smart attorney who built her career defending the forgotten in courtrooms across Texas. This wasn't just politics. This was the moment when performance met practice, and practice won. Let's set the stage properly, because context is everything. It's 2025, the House Select Committee on Presidential Accountability is holding emergency hearings after yet another cascade of leaked documents, this time involving classified material allegedly stored in a Mar-a-Lago bathroom. The committee chair, a moderate Republican trying to thread the needle, calls Donald Trump as a voluntary witness, not under subpoena, because, well, optics. Trump struts in wearing his signature red tie, navy suit, flanked by a phalanx of attorneys, in $1,000 loafers, each clutching leather-bound folders thicker than the Manhattan phone book. He's grinning that trademark grin, the one that says, "I've survived impeachments, indictments, and everything else they've thrown at me. This is just another Tuesday." Across the dais sits Representative Jasmine Crockett, Georgia's firebrand freshman turned sophomore powerhouse. She's got one aide, Maya, a 28-year-old former ACLU fellow holding nothing but an iPad and a legal pad. No research team, no teleprompter, just Crockett in a crisp emerald suit, hair in a power bun sharp enough to cut glass, and a stare that could freeze lava. The committee had agreed to 5-minute rounds. Republicans lob softballs first, letting Trump riff about witch hunts and fake news. He's in his element, rambling about crowd sizes, stock market highs under his administration, and how the DOJ is weaponized. The room chuckles nervously. Fox News cameras zoom in on his animated gestures. CNN cuts to pundits already drafting their "Trump dominates again" chirons. Then it's Crockett's turn. The chair recognizes her. The gentlewoman from Georgia is recognized for 5 minutes. Crockett doesn't stand. She leans forward, voice calm, almost conversational, like she's cross-examining a defendant who's already sweating through his suit. "Mr. Trump," she begins, "thank you for appearing today. I want to start with something simple. You've repeatedly claimed that the president has absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts. Is that correct?" Trump smirks, sensing an easy layup. "That's right, Congresswoman. The Supreme Court, 6-3, said it loud and clear. Presidential immunity. Total. You can't indict a president for doing his job. It's in the Constitution. Maybe you should read it sometime." Murmurs ripple through the room. His attorneys nod approvingly. Crockett doesn't flinch. She taps her iPad once. "Actually, Mr. Trump, let's be precise. The Supreme Court in Trump v. United States, July 1, 2024, held that there is a presumption of immunity for official acts within the outer perimeter of presidential duties. But that presumption is rebuttable, and the court explicitly remanded the question of whether storing classified documents in a ballroom constitutes an official act. Would you like me to read the syllabus?" Trump's smile freezes. I know what the court said. Better than you, believe me," Crockett continues, voice still silk over steel. "You also claimed on Truth Social, March 4, 2025, and I quote, 'The president can declassify anything with his mind. No process needed.' Is that accurate?" Trump shrugs. "It's called Article 2. I can do whatever I want as president. It's total authority." Crockett's eyebrow arches like a guillotine. Article 2, Section 1 vests executive power. It does not mention telepathic declassification. In fact, Executive Order 13526, which you signed in 2017, requires specific procedures for declassification, including written documentation and notification to the originating agency. Did you follow those procedures for the documents found in your bedroom? Trump's face flushes. Look, I was busy running the country. Mr. Trump, Crockett cuts in. Under United States v. Nixon 1974, even a valid claim of executive privilege yields to a demonstrated need for evidence in a criminal proceeding. You cited Nixon on the campaign trail in 2016 to attack Hillary Clinton's emails. Do you stand by that precedent today? Trump opens his mouth, closes it. His lead attorney starts whispering furiously. Crockett doesn't wait. Let's try something simpler. You've said the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause doesn't apply to you because, and I quote from your February 2025 interview with Sean Hannity, Section 3 only applies to Civil War rebels, not modern presidents. Is that your legal position? Trump nods confidently. Exactly. It's ancient history. Dead letter. Crockett swipes her iPad. Then explain Ex parte Merryman, 1861, where Chief Justice Taney, a pro-slavery Democrat, ruled that only Congress, not the President, can suspend habeas corpus. Or Youngstown Sheet and Tube, 1952, where Justice Jackson's concurrence, which you've never cited, established the three-tier framework for presidential power. Your actions on January 6th, pressuring the vice president to reject electoral votes, fall into Category 3, lowest ebb of presidential authority. How do you reconcile that? Trump blinks. I don't need to reconcile anything. I had perfect phone calls. Perfect. Crockett's voice drops an octave. One final question, Mr. Trump. You've mocked affirmative action lawyers on your network, specifically calling me on January 12, 2025. A diversity hire who couldn't pass the bar without a handout. I passed the Texas bar on my first attempt, top 10%. I tried 47 felony cases as a public defender. How many felony trials have you argued, sir? The room inhales collectively. Trump leans forward, squinting. I've been in more courtrooms than— Zero, Crockett says. The answer is zero. You've never tried a case. You've settled them. You've delayed them. You've bankrupted opponents with legal fees. But you've never stood before a jury and cross-examined a witness under the Strickland standard. I have. 47 times. She pauses, letting the silence stretch like a garrote. I have no further questions, she says, sitting back. His qualifications have been sufficiently clarified. 19 seconds. That's all it took. The chamber erupts. Republicans shout, "Point of order!" Democrats are on their feet. Trump's face cycles through orange, red, and a shade that can only be described as apoplectic. His microphone cuts out as he yells something about rigged hearings and crooked Jasmine. But the damage is done. Before we unpack the fallout that turned this clip into a cultural nuke, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the next part is where careers end and legends begin. The clip drops online at 3:17 p.m. Eastern. By 3:22, it's on X, TikTok, Instagram, and every group chat from Atlanta to Auckland. The timestamp freezes at 0:19 when Crockett says zero. Someone overlays it with the Law and Order, done. Another adds the Mortal Kombat, finish him. By 4 p.m., 19 seconds is trending worldwide. Politico's headline, Crockett's Cross. Did Trump just get schooled by a freshman? CNN runs it on loop with legal analysts stammering. She cited Youngstown concurrences. That's not normal hearing prep. Fox News tries damage control. Hannity calls it a cheap shot by a radical socialist. Laura Ingraham blames gotcha editing. But the clip is raw, unedited, C-SPAN verified. They can't spin 19 seconds. Legal Twitter, yes, that's a thing. loses its collective mind. Former Solicitor General Neil Katyal tweets, "I teach Youngstown in con law. I've never seen it deployed in real time like that. Ever." Harvard's Lawrence Tribe posts a thread breaking down every citation. Even conservative pundits like Jonathan Turley admit, "She knew her cases cold." Trump walked into a buzzsaw. Trump's response? He posts on Truth Social at 6:42 p.m. Crazy Jasmine Crackpot had her 15 minutes. Ratings through the roof. Everyone's talking about me. But the replies are brutal. Someone posts a gif of Thanos disintegrating with Crockett's face. Another writes, "Bro said perfect phone calls like it's a defense." The next morning, the New York Times front page. In 19 seconds, a Congresswoman redefines the Trump reckoning. But the real carnage hits the airwaves. Trump's favorite podcast, the one hosted by a former reality TV contestant turned MAGA influencer, sees a 40% drop in downloads. Advertisers pull spots. One supplement company cites brand misalignment with legal accuracy. His book tour, The Art of the Comeback, Volume 3, scheduled for Barnes & Noble signings, gets canceled in 3 cities after protesters show up with iPads playing the clip on loop. The publisher quietly pushes the release date from June to TBD. Fox tries to book him for a rebuttal. He agrees, then ghosts the segment. Sources say he spent the afternoon rage tweeting from Bedminster, calling Crockett low IQ and nasty. The posts get ratioed into oblivion. Meanwhile, Crockett's star detonates. Yale Law School offers her an adjunct professorship in trial advocacy, starting fall semester. She accepts, but only if they let her teach via Zoom so she can stay in Congress. Harvard presses harder. A named chair in public defense. She counters with a demand for full scholarships for first-gen law students. They agree within 48 hours. Simon & Schuster slides into her DMs with a 7-figure deal for 19 seconds. How preparation beats performance. The outline is 3 pages, single-spaced. She writes the first chapter in a Waffle House at 2 a.m., fueled by coffee and righteous fury. The Supreme Court takes notice. When SCOTUS grants cert in a January 6th related case, the ACLU files an amicus brief and lists Crockett as co-counsel. She argues for 12 minutes in October wearing the same emerald suit. Justice Sotomayor cites her Youngstown framework in oral argument. The opinion, when it drops, quotes her hearing testimony verbatim. Trump tries a comeback tour in 2026. The venues shrink. The crowds thin. He blames Reno sabotage and deep state sound systems. But the clip follows him everywhere. It plays on arena jumbotrons when he takes the stage. Someone hacks the teleprompter in Ohio to display 0 in 72-point font. His media empire phrase. The streaming platform he launched with fanfare in 2024 hemorrhages subscribers. The final episode of his podcast features a guest host, a former Apprentice contestant reading fan mail. The last episode ever is titled, "Why I Was Right About Everything," and it trends for all the wrong reasons. Crockett, meanwhile, becomes the face of a new Democratic wave. She keynotes the 2028 DNC. Her speech, titled, "From the Courtroom to the Capitol," clocks in at 19 minutes exactly. The crowd counts down the final seconds. When she finishes, they chant 19. 19! In the battle between performance and practice, between bluster and briefs, between a man who trademarked "you're fired" and a woman who actually tried cases, the truth didn't just win. It won in 19 seconds. If you made it through this entire story, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications because we're just getting started. Comment below. Did Jasmine Crockett end Donald Trump's political career in 19 seconds? Or was this simply justice catching up to a lifetime of legal cosplay?